Hello there, this is James S. Crawford, 1978, and The Invisible Man 2020, Universal's latest attempt to reboot its Universal Monsters brand after the utter catastrophe that was its attempt to create a dark cinematic universe to rival the Marvel movies, persuading Jason Blum to do the heavy lifting and take the financial risk this time, and after the self-podingly artsy intro titles in which the waves crashing against the rocks create lettering that disappears so fast when the ambient lighting is so dark that we barely have a chance to read a single word, we cut to the victim of Elon Musk if he were a manipulative abuser, executing her long-planned escape from his high-tech cliffside mansion. But even after her escape is successful, a full 2 weeks later she is terrified that he will find her and is hiding around every corner. Even after this leading genius inventor in the field of optics, who's devoted his entire life to developing stealth and camouflage technologies, apparently commits suicide, she becomes more convinced than ever that he is watching her. Strange things start to happen that people chalk up to her being paranoid and self-destructive, and the film is called The Invisible Man. If you haven't figured out what's happening after reading the title, then there is no way that you can be watching this video unless someone is operating the device for you. There can be no suspense in a film like this, only ridiculous insults to our intelligence that exists solely to drag out the story longer than the 5 minutes required to tell it, because there are literally only two ways that it can go. Either she is delusional and doing it all to herself and by herself without even realising it, or it's all true and the monster, either literal or metaphorical, is stalking her, turning everyone against her, framing her and destroying her life, and once you figured out that it's the second option, then either, like the Candyman, he does succeed in utterly destroying her and convincing everyone that she is the murderer, or she must confront and overcome him in a final cathartic and empowering showdown, after which she will be free and can literally breathe free again in the final shot of the movie, just in case the final denouement was too subtle for you. And since the entire film is presented as an allegory for escaping, surviving, and overcoming domestic abuse, violence, and trauma, then take a wild guess. So while I have no doubt that survivors of gender-based abuse and violence, other advocates against it and what have you will applaud this film's depiction of survivors' trauma, the struggle to empower yourself after having your control over your own life stripped away from you and so forth, and the creators are obviously so fucking pleased with the fights with no one and related special effects, dragging those fights out far longer than is necessary, as far as I can tell, simply to show off. Just as I can't watch more than 20 minutes of Elysium, because even though I agree with and champion it, the movie's pontificating message and moral is so blatant and so patronising that I am enraged by the insult, the double whammy of the "why won't anyone believe me" trope, which I loathe with a vengeance, and mind-numbingly predictable plot made watching this film absolute torture for me. But hey, at least I was paid to do so, and at least the sadistic troll who paid me to watch it will have gotten his money's worth this time.
If you want that money, then dance, recruit, dance! You call that dancing?
And all the girlies say I'm pretty fly for a white guy.